103.2 Preston FM.
Keeping it local.
And that's where you are, the world's local radio station, broadcasting live from Preston. It's Preston FM and it's Chat City. And in the studio this morning, my second guest this morning, it's lovely to welcome Norman Harris. And Norman is from Kirkham Twinning Association. So, Norman, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Hughie. Very nice to be here.
When I think of twinning, would I be right that, you know, you visit towns, you visit cities across the country, and as you're entering a city or a town, you see twinned with. Yes. So am I getting warm there, Norman?
Well, we're not travelling across this country, we're travelling across other countries, of course, and Kirkham, as it happens, is twinned with Ancenis, which is a beautiful town on the banks of the Loire, and we're also twinned with Bad Bruckenau, which is a town in Germany about 80 kilometres away from Frankfurt and right on what was the old East German, West German border. So we do get around a bit, yes. And we've just last week had 33 visitors from France and 7 from Germany over, staying in Kirkham, and we had a great time with them.
Right. And before we talk about how it came about, I mean, how does one decide the kind of appropriate destination to twin with, as with yourselves?
Well, these things tend to come about, and I mean, in the case of Ancenis, for example, it came about not exactly by accident, but the Kirkham Twinning Association actually started in 1974. The original link was between the Rotary Clubs of Ancenis and Kirkham, and it was set up by a local gentleman, a guy called Gordon Himsworth. I've had the pleasure of meeting Gordon because last time I was in Ancenis, Gordon met his wife Jackie in Manchester, and they both moved to Ancenis, and so the twinning started there with Gordon and his wife. The Rotary link was broken a short time afterwards. They sort of not lost interest, but they handed it over, and Ancenis was twinned in 1990, which was actually nothing to do with us, but it was twinned with Bad Bruckenau in northern Germany. And as I say, Ancenis is a beautiful town on the banks of the Loire, and Bad Bruckenau is equally beautiful, but in a different way. It's in Bavaria, in the Bavarian hills, and I do a lot of walking, and it's just glorious walking country.
And I believe your own involvement, there's a nice little story attached to it.
Oh, it was funny. I got involved about, it must be 15 years ago, because at the time I was, believe it or not, I was running a 1927 Austin 7, and my wife and I wanted to take it to France. So I approached the Kirkham Twinning Association, the obvious place to ask, could they suggest anywhere we could go and who we could go and stay with. And we drove down, had a lovely drive down through France, and you're probably aware if you go to France on a Sunday, it's closed. Yeah. And so that we were running out of fuel, pulled into a petrol station. It wouldn't accept my credit card because it was an English one, so we had to drive on. Still couldn't find anywhere. The address we were given for Christian and Monique, the people we were staying with, was rather vague, and we just drove onto our big housing estate. Driving round, the car ran out of fuel, died completely, and the next thing was that the door opened and this lovely bearded face stuck in and said, "Bonjour Normand, comment ça va?" The car had actually stopped right outside the back door of the house that we were staying in. So even we didn't know where we were going, but the car obviously did. So it was great to meet them, and they've been firm friends for 15 years. And I go and stay with them any time they like, and they could do the same here.
And I bet the people love the car. As I would imagine you did.
Yeah, I love the car, and I've actually got a photograph of the car parked outside the town hall in Ancenis. I was talking to the French police sergeant, and he instructed one of his privates to go and stand in front of the car with his arms crossed, guarding the car. So
yes,
it was quite an amusing experience. But we've since been in other vintage cars, and we got a very warm welcome. We had a lovely time.
And I mean, for listeners who don't know, or maybe listeners around the world who don't know, Kirkham, I mean, itself is a beautiful ancient market town, isn't it?
Its charter goes back to 1760 something. Quite amazing.
And I would imagine that when people come across to visit,
Yes.
there also is the other side of this, isn't it? That not only bringing people together, but I mean, it really is kind of an exchange of culture, of music,
Oh,
of
it is.
drama, of everything, isn't
It's
it?
brilliant. We try and do, when we go over there, we are treated very well indeed. I mean, the Ancenis in particular, if you just enjoy walking along the banks of the Loire, and there's some beautiful little towns like Lire and so on, and Dom on the side of the Loire, and it's beautiful just to walk around there. But it has a medieval centre, and we go in the galleries, and we get taken out by our friends. I mean, as an example, when our friends have just been over here, we took them out for an English experience. We had 3 teenagers, my wife and I, staying with us, and we took them out onto the Haverthwaite steam railway. It's not something you can do in France. There aren't that many steam trains, but to get on board a steam train and then go up to Lakeside, cross the platform, and get on a ship on Lake Windermere. We took them up to Bowness, and you've got to do it. We went into an English pub and had fish and chips.
Lovely.
I mean, how cool is that?
That's right, yeah. In fact, that was
but
probably
that's what the French
highlight.
do with us. When we go the other way, we may go out to a vineyard and have a drink go and sample some of the wine. It would be not right not to go and taste the wines, just to help the French economy along.
I totally agree.
Yes.
I totally agree with you on that point. Yes, in fact, I would like to do that.
There's
yes.
lots of things in the Ancenis area. We go to Futuroscope, which is quite amazing. The French title is The Image in All Its Forms, and it's a cinema complex, which doesn't sound too exciting, but you've never seen anything like the cinemas. This is pushing forward the boundaries of cinemas. And there's the Puy de Fou, which is medieval battles going on all day long, and Viking longships, and quite amazing. It's really good.
So the exchange, the visits, is it people of all ages, and people are accommodated by local residents?
Well,
Is that usually how it
this has been
works?
part of my job on the recent trip. We do have, because we've been going for a while now, we have a lot of friends in, for argument's sake, in Ancenis, who have already got people that they will stay with. Like the 3 teenagers that came to stay with my wife and I, 2 of them are the children of the people we go and stay with. And their ages range from, I don't know, probably 65 to, in our case, 19. So we do get it, but the thing is, they go and stay with local families. So obviously a little bit of the language is a great help, but on the other hand, it isn't essential. People get on very well, and half the fun is getting to know each other and getting to understand the language. I speak reasonable French, but I still find it's a lot easier to speak in English, because our French friends come over, they want to learn English. There's no point in me pushing my French. I'll do that when I go to France.
Yes.
But when they come over here, we make a point of saying, right, English from now on. And that's how it works.
And is there anything about our British about our British way of life, our idiosyncrasies, that they find quite amusing when they come over to stay?
They certainly find me quite amusing. I can't say that there are anything. I mean, we do try and make a point of being, maybe it's the wrong thing to do, make a point of being English, in the sense that when we offer them breakfast, we don't go out of our way to go and buy croissant and things that they would eat.
Yes.
We offer them, sausage, egg, bacon and tomato. Mind you, our teenagers didn't have any of that, because they were all, no, I'm on a diet, so. No, but we do try and just make a point of being English as you would expect. I don't mean everybody talks in a very strong English, a terribly far back accent. It's not like that. It's just friends. And we've now got at least 3 couples that we could go and stay with any time. It's just one of those things. We have such a lovely relationship with the people. I ride a Harley Davidson. I was down in Saint-Tropez with my friends, and they went. My mother group went straight back up. I went off to Lire. Just rang up our friends and said, I'm on my way through, can I stay with you? Fantastic, go and stay with them. And I'm not joking, I had a 7-course meal with 7 different wines, And by the end of the evening, I couldn't have cared less what the last course was, but it was
Yes,
very nice, I'm assured.
I can understand that. I would imagine also over the years, maybe there's business ties that have come out of this from people who know each other in the various countries.
I don't think there are many business ties yet, because the thing about particularly the Ancenis area, you're on the banks of the Loire, and the vast majority of the people that we know work in the wine industry. And it's actually the same for Bad Brucker now. There's an awful lot of wines produced in that area. So it's not something that I must admit I'm aware of. We certainly don't have any business connections. There may be people who have within the group, but I'm not aware of them, I'm afraid.
But of course the Twinnings came around not because of the wine, first of all. They came around like, yes, yeah.
That's the important thing to say, that it is the people that we get on with are very, very friendly indeed. We like to think that you get involved with the twinning because you're an outgoing sort of an individual.
Yes.
Not, somebody, well, I don't want so-and-so staying with me. That doesn't work. You just, like when I'm the secretary, I've been doing all the organisation, and I've just got to say to somebody, look, we have a couple who want to stay somewhere. Have you got a double bed? Yes. Right. And that's how friendships are made. We've done that's exactly what we've done in France and Bad Brucker now.
As I said at the beginning, I have always wondered about that. When you're entering a town, a village, whatever, and you see that sign that we are twinned with.
Yeah.
I've actually wondered. I mean, I understand that it means you have a kind of partner or relationship with that area. What do you think it does bring to Kirkham and to the other two places that you're twinned with?
Well, we try and when we get the French over here, like for instance this last weekend it was Kirkham Club Day. So we wanted to show the French, the Germans, just what Club Day was like, and I must admit we had a glorious day for it, and the procession was absolutely superb, and it gets a feeling of this is I hate to go back to the point, but this is England, and this is how we do things, because when we go to France and when we go to Germany, we get parades, they seem to do quite a few parades, and it's very enjoyable to see a completely different aspect of this I keep saying the word friendship, but that's what it's all about.
Yes.
We go and talk to friends, and as I say, I just got a postcard from one of our couples in France saying that they are now in Madagascar. It's that sort of relationship. We get postcards going backwards and forwards, and we send postcards when we're on holiday.
And the Twinning Association itself, I take it, now, do you meet during the year to plan the events?
We meet about 3 or 4 times a year, particularly when we've got an event coming up like next year we are going to Ancenis. They've given the people in Ancenis have given us the dates. It's the 13th, let me hope we get it right, 13th to the 15th of May, which is their Ascension Day, and we will now. I, as the secretary, will now start putting information around to say this is where we're going. We don't tend to go as for argument's sake, the French come in a coach, so they take a 40-seater coach, the whole lot pile in, and they arrive and park the coach up in Kirkham Grammar School. But we, the Brits, the English end, the Kirkham end, we don't. We tend to go and, like my wife and I, treat it as a holiday, drive down independently, and basically make a bit of a holiday out of it. Go and stay with our friends in Ancenis, and then maybe come up along the French coast at Nantes and up through La Boule and so on. But a lot of people do that, and I don't think we've ever organised a coach trip to get people down there. It's an independent thing.
Yes.
But once you've got the end point of Ancenis as the point you're going to start your holiday, we then, as I say, make a holiday out of it, go out to the coast and drive up the French coast and stay in the local hotels.
So when I do see that twinning sign on the road sign, does that mean that they actually kind of sign with the councils of those authorities, a kind of cordial agreement then that you're going to be twinned?
We did have a charter which was signed, I hope I'm correct in this, was signed a while ago by the various councils, but I have to emphasise we get no money at all from the council because it's it wouldn't be right in these days of austerity for us to be taking money from the council, but they just lend us the room at the Kirkham Community Centre, and we provide the nibbles and the wine on the reception.
Right.
But it's part of the we have had the mayor Peter Hardy was over a few years ago, and Jim Cameron's been across. And it's nice to go and meet the mayors of these places. We've had the mayor over from Arsenal this time. I beg your pardon, he didn't come this time. We had the mayor over from Germany. But it's not a council thing. It's a people thing.
Yes. So hosts, something you're always looking for, new hosts.
Oh, please, we need new hosts.
Is that right? Yes. Yeah.
It's nice to have a choice of hosts to say these people are available. Because we get different requirements. You have to appreciate that, like the 3 teenagers that we've had, you can't stick them all in the same bed. You've got to go and find 3 single beds somewhere.
Yes,
Well, luckily we had that, and other people come as couples and other people come as singles, and it's very nice to have a choice of bedded accommodation, because obviously the beds are important.
Yes, I'm sure.
But equally, it's as I say, the language difficulty doesn't matter, because what we try and do is, if our friends Monique and Christian, for argument's sake, in Anthony, will tell me as the secretary what the language abilities of the people they're sending are, and I will then try and match the abilities of the people who are coming with the language abilities of the people who are going to host them.
Right.
So we're not going to, you don't get somebody dumped on you who doesn't speak a word of English and you don't speak a word of French, and
yes.
you're both looking at each other all weekend.
So Norman, is there a website, or if anybody is interested, can they find out more, or how do they make contact?
Well, I run the website, and it's www.kirkhamtwinning, all one word, all lowercase, .org, O-R-G.
Lovely. Well, can I thank you for coming in this morning? Because I had, whenever I see that twinning, I had wondered, what goes on behind the words on the side of the road. But
it's nice
thank
to have
you
the
for coming
opportunity
in.
to explain it.
Lovely. Thanks, Norman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
103.2 Preston FM.
Keeping it local.